Mr. Speaker, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 4058, and for this purpose, direct the Secretary General to read the title of the said measure. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the measure.
House Bill number 4058, an act appropriating funds for the operation of the Government of the Republic of the Philippines from January 1 to December 31, 2026.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary status of House Bill number 4058 is that it is the period of sponsorship and debate. I now move to consider the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Jose Alvarez, Vice Chairperson of the Committee of Appropriations, to answer questions on the proposed budget on the Office of the Vice President. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Representative Jose Alvarez is now recognized.
Ready, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Leila de Lima of the Mamamayang Liberal Party List to interpolate the sponsors on the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President.
Dali.
Thank you. Oh,
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw the motion, Mr. Speaker,
Motion withdrawn. Majority Leader.
and recognize the sponsor, Congressman Representative Jose Alvarez, for the sponsorship speech.
Honorable Jose Alvarez is now recognized.
Good afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, Mr. Speaker. We are in receipt of a letter from the Office of the Vice President, dated September 25, addressed to our chair on the appropriations, which I read. Dear Honorable Swan Singh, we refer to the Office of the Vice President plenary budget deliberations scheduled on September 30, 2025 at 10 a.m. The following OVP officials will attend the plenary budget deliberation, namely Lemuel G. Ortonio, OIC Chief of Staff / Assistant Secretary. Second, Attorney Rosalyn B. Sanchez, Director for Administrative and Financial Services. The third is Attorney Sunshine Shari E. Fajarda, Director for Strategy and Management Office. And the fourth is Norman B. Balaro, Director for Operations. Also attached is the list of personnel who will provide technical support and assistance during the said deliberations. We will provide an update in case of changes, bar inclusion of additional attendees. Attorney Kelvin Jerome A. Tiñedo, Chief of Administrative Officer, will closely coordinate with you on this matter. You may reach him via email at blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Signed, Sarah Zimmerman Duterte, Vice President. Subsequently, Mr. Speaker, on September 29, we received another letter in the address to the address showing an office order number 2025-51, dated September 2025. In the exigency of service, Assistant Secretary Lemuel J. Ortonio is hereby designated as officer in charge of the Office of the Chief of Staff in view of the leave of absence of Attorney Sulaika T. Lopez, the USEC. By virtue of this order, ASIC Ortonio shall perform the duties and responsibilities of Chief of Staff, including the authority to sign Civil Service Commission appointment papers related to the document of the first and second level positions except for the duties as head of the procuring entity, which shall be delegated to Attorney Rosalyn T. Sanchez, Director 4 of the Administrative and Financial Service Office. This order shall take effect from 29 September. This is the second letter, Mr. Speaker. And on September 30, we received another letter addressed to our chair, Micaela Angela Swansing, Chairperson, Committee on Appropriations, House of Representatives. Dear Honorable Swansing, it has come to my attention that the Office of the Vice President, OVP, enclosed in parentheses, budget for 902.895 million pesos has been deferred due to the committee's insistence that I attend the plenary deliberations. I am prepared to attend. However, I am seeking the following. House of Representatives demand the attendance of President Marcos for the 27.3 billion pesos budget deliberation of the Office of the President. Number 2, alternatively, I will attend if the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability will produce before the plenary schedule a Department of Justice DOJ document confirming that the Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order or ILBO for the following OVP personnel have been lifted. Two conditions, Mr. Speaker. For the following personnel, Attorney Zulaika T. Lopez, Mr. Lemuel G. Ortonio, Attorney Rosalyn T. L. Sanchez, Attorney Sunshine Chari E. Fajarda, Miss Gina F. Acosta, Miss Juliet Villa del Rey, and Mr. Edward D. Fajarda. Let me know by written communication how you wish to proceed. Thank you for the attention on this matter. Very truly yours. Signed, Sara Zimmerman Duterte, Vice President. In view of these letters, Mr. Speaker, we have given the Office of the Vice President utmost respect in the procedures of this Congress in order to deliberate on the budget of the OVP. Mr. Speaker, there's no one from the Office of the Vice President, and I'm prepared to stand alone here and stand for the budget of the OVP.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Leila de Lima of Mamamayang Liberal Party List to interpolate the sponsor of the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President.
The Honorable Leila de Lima is now recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished sponsor, I will not be interpolating. I will not be asking questions. I will be raising a parliamentary inquiry, then I will make a manifestation. Parliamentary inquiry. First, a clarification. Did I hear it right? That there is no one present from the Office of the President right now in today's, Office of the Vice President right now in these proceedings.
Affirmative, Mr. Speaker.
Second question. This is the third time. This is the third setting for the budget deliberations or interpellation for the budget of the Office of the Vice President. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
Does the committee have the intention to respond to this letter dated September 30, 2025? The last letter flashed on the screen about the two conditions, supposed conditions, being demanded by the Vice President about her appearance before this body. Number one condition is requiring the presence of the president himself in the deliberations or interpellations for the budget of the office of the president. And number two, requiring the lifting of the immigration lookout bulletin for 7 officials of the office of the vice president from the list of the Department of Justice. Does the committee have the intention to respond to this letter of the Vice President?
Mr. Speaker, the committee will no longer respond to this letter, being the last day today.
And I think that should be the right action on the part of the committee. Let me say, for the record, of the House of Representatives, at least restitution of the Republic of the Philippines. The whole budget process is something that is being directed and recognized by the Constitution itself. So disrespecting the budgetary process of this body is a clear case of disrespect of our Constitution. Who is she to continuously disrespect or show disrespect to this body as an institution and to the Constitution? If she can afford to be showing herself up to the Senate, including being there and applauding the former Senate President in his privileged speech, which is definitely not part of her mandate as the Vice President, why can't she not spare a few moments of her time attending to her official function as Vice President to defend the budget of her office? Enough is enough. Enough of her brattiness. So, I rise today to manifest my extreme displeasure about the behavior of our Vice President. And in due time, I will move for the decrease in the budget of the Office of the Vice President. I actually intended initially to move for zero budget for the Office of the President, or for the disapproval of the budget for the Office of the President, of the Office of the Vice President, in light of those very questionable actuations on the part of the Vice President. But after some mulling, after some reflections, and out of courtesy also and consideration to the personnel and staff of the Office of the Vice President, I'm just now thinking of moving for the decrease, let's say, for the retention of the MOOE and personal services budget, and get rid of the operational budget for the Office of the Vice President. Again, I will move at the proper time during the period of amendment for that. And I hope that my colleagues will join me in that motion or in that amendment. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate the sponsor, I move to recognize Representative Antonio L. Pino of ACT Teachers Party List. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The representative from ACT Teachers Party List is now recognized.
Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker, Ginoong Sponsor. Hindi rin po ako tumindig ngayon upang mag-interpellate dahil wala pong silbi ang pag-interpellate sa sponsor. Sumasaludo pa tayo sa kagalang-galang na sponsor, si Congressman Alvarez, sa kahandaan niyang ipagtanggol ang proposed budget ng Office of the Vice President kahit yun mismong Vice Presidente ay malinaw na walang interes na ipagtanggol ang hinihingi nito sa taong bayan. No? At ito po ang mahalagang punto. Lubos po tayong nadidismaya, katulad ng kasama nating si Congresswoman Laila De Lima, sa hindi pagharap sa Kongreso ng Vice Presidente. At hindi lang po lubos na nadidismaya, kinukundi na po natin ito. No, dahil ang importanteng punto, ang proseso ito ay ang proseso kung saan ang mga opisyal ng gobyerno ay humaharap sa Kongreso upang humingi ng pahintulot na gastusin nila ang pera ng taong bayan. No, ito po ang kahulugan ng deliberasyon na nagaganap nitong mga nakaraang linggo. Humihingi po sa taong bayan, no, dahil gagamitin ang pondo nila ng kanilang opisina. Kaya ultimately, ang binabastos po ng Vice Presidente sa paglalagay pa ng mga kondisyon. Bago daw siya magpakita rito, may mga kondisyon muna, ibigay ang gusto niya. No? Ang binabastos po niya dyan, hindi lang po itong institusyon ng Kongreso, hindi ang konstitusyon, kung hindi ang taong bayan. No? Dahil pera nila ang gagamitin ng Vice Presidente. Naisa na nating tanungin kung paano niya ginagastos ito. Ditong mga nakaraang taon, galing mismo sa sarili niyang bibig, ay 18 times po nagbiyahe abroad. Galing mo mismo sa sarili niyang bibig, karamihan doon personal na mga lakad. No? Iba't ibang bansa ito, kasama ang Japan, kasama ang ilang mga bansa sa Europe at sa Middle East. No? Gusto po sana nating tanungin dahil nanggaling din sa opisina niya mismo na gumastos ng total of utilization for international travel ay 7.473 million pesos at total for domestic travel 13.207 million pesos for a total of 20.8 million pesos sa mga travel ng Vice Presidente. Dinidiin po niya ron na kahit na personal ang lakad niya at kapag personal ang lakad niya, yung pamasahe daw niya at personal na gastos, hindi daw galing sa pera ng taong bayan. Pero inamin din niya na dahil siya ay Vice Presidente, ay kailangan pong bayaran ng taong bayan ang pasahe at iba pang gastusin ng kanyang staff. No, whether yung kanyang security or yung staff ng Office of the Vice President. At higit sa lahat, Mr. Speaker at ginoong sponsor, siya lang po ang makakasagot nito. Hindi po kayo, kaya hindi na nga po tayo nag-interpellate. Ang nais po nating hingiin ay ang paliwanag mismo ng Vice Presidente na kahit pa personal ang kanyang lakad, tuloy-tuloy po siyang sumusweldo, no, mula sa pondo ng taong bayan. Second highest paid official of the national government ang Vice Presidente. Salary grade 32, umaabot po yan sa almost 400,000 a month, 398,686 a month. Yan po ang sweldo ng Vice Presidente, buwan-buwan. Ngunit sa kanya mismo nanggaling, madalas ay lumalabas siya on personal trips. Ang ordinaryong kawani po ng gobyerno ay, of course, hindi pwede gawin yon. Pag ginawa yon, sa minimum, bawas sa sweldo, sa maximum, pwede pang matanggal. Of course, Vice Presidente siya, hindi mangyayari yan. All the more, ang kanyang obligasyon at responsibilidad na kumilos nang isinasaalang-alang ang interes ng taong bayan. No? Gusto rin po sana nating tanungin ang Vice Presidente kaugnay sa kapansin-pansin na mababang utilization rate ng kanyang budget. No? For 2025, sa 744.14 million pesos na budget ng OVP, ni-report po na sa kalagitnaan ng taon, 34.3% pa lamang po ang nagagamit. At nang tanungin po natin, nung panahon ng budget briefing, ganito po ang sagot niya. Sabi po niya, ano po ang paliwanag dito? Yan ang tanong sa kanya. Yes, marami kaming procurement na tumagal. Hindi siya nasimulan by January, Madam Chair, yung procurement. So maraming mga procurement na June, July, August na nasimulan. Yun lang po ang kanyang paliwanag. Mabagal na procurement. No? Gitna na ng taon ay wala pa raw procurement. Ang expectation po sa lahat ng mga opisina ng gobyerno na ang isubmit na budget kailangang handa ng ma-implement by January. Kaya mataas po ang hinihingi natin sa ibang mga ahensya. Hindi po ubra yung kalagitnaan ng taon pa lang magsisimula ang procurement. Nais po sana nating i-relate sa naging performance din ng Vice President nung siya ay kalihim ng DepEd. Ganito rin po ang problema. Napakabagal na procurement. Kaya po, noong 2023, yung tanging taon na buo ang panunungkulan niya bilang DepEd Secretary, meron po siyang budget, ang DepEd, para magtayo ng 6,379 classrooms. Ang napatayo lang po ng DepEd ay 192. No? So kaya hindi po bago kung hindi tila isang padron yung napakababang utilization rate. No? And finally, gusto rin po sana nating maliwanagan sa ilang mga partikularidad ng budget na hinihingi for 2026. Particular, bakit po may kapansing-pansing paglaki ng hinihingi para sa supplies and materials? 43% increase po rito. At para sa professional services, 405% increase. Professional services para sa mga consultant. No, hindi po natin alam kung para saan yan. Gusto sana nating malaman sa kanya. Rent and lease expenses. Again, that's a 75% increase na hinihingi. At iba pa ang mga maintenance and operating expenses. Again, ang punto po natin, hindi po pamumulitika ang habol dito kung hindi lihiting mong mga tanong na tinatanong din natin sa ibang mga ahensya. At dahil ganito po, again, kinukondin ako ang pambabastos ng Vice Presidente sa taong bayan. No, dahil umaasa siya na magkakaroon ng budget para sa 2026. Mas malaking budget pa nga ang hinihingi. Ngunit hindi man lamang humarap sa institusyong ito upang panindigan at ipaliwanag ang hinihinging budget. No? Kaya at the proper time, Mr. Speaker, ako po, I will move to reduce the budget of the Office of the Vice President for 2026. Ang hinihingi po is a total of 902.895 million for 2026. I will move that it be cut only to the PS component. Ibig sabihin, yung pangsweldo lang po sa personnel. Bakit po? Dahil obligado po. No, habang nananatili silang mga empleyado ng gobyerno at isaalang-alang din po natin na ang mga kawani ng Office of the Vice President ay damay lang po. No? Naniniwala tayo na sila ay mga tapat na lingkod bayan, ngunit sa kasamaang palad ay iba ang asal ng kanilang head of office. So I will move that the budget be reduced nearly to the PS of 198.8 million pesos at the proper time, since the head of office herself has not deemed it necessary to defend the budget proposal of her office. So, yun lang po, Mr. Speaker at ginoong sponsor, maraming salamat.
Majority Leader.
If I may be recognized, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tino is now recognized.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other member of the...
Speaker,
I withdraw,
I,
Mr. Speaker.
I have registered that I will be manifesting.
Majority Leader.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate the sponsor, I move to recognize Representative Egay Erice of Caloocan City. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Erice is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor. Dear colleagues, the letter of Vice President Sara Duterte, with all due respect, reeks of hate and impropriety. Considering that the subject matter is simply the proposed budget of her office. Instead of addressing the issue with sobriety and professionalism, the letter reflects the lingering bad blood between her and the House, particularly the 19th Congress, and it set conditions that are clearly unreasonable and impossible. However, I firmly believe that the 20th Congress is doing its duty well in providing our people with the best possible budget for fiscal year 2026. Our task is to serve the people, not to be distracted by personal grievances or political animosities. The best way forward is simply to ignore the letter and proceed with the more important task at hand, the approval of the national budget. To ignore the letter and treat it as unimportant is in fact the most professional and dignified way of addressing this matter. Let us stay focused on our mandate and let us not allow personal conflicts to derail the people's budget. Mr. Speaker, mas mabuti pong wag na nating patulan ang sulat. Let us ignore it and take the higher ground of humility. Ang totoong laban ay hindi sa pride ng iilan, kundi sa budget ng bayan. That is where our focus must remain. Kapag may galit, sagot natin ay kababaang loob. Kapag may personal na away, sagot natin ay serbisyo. The higher ground of humility is to proceed with the people's budget, tahimik, diretso, at malinaw. Mr. Speaker, silence can be the strongest statement. By ignoring the letter and moving forward, we show the country that Congress chooses humility over hostility and service over pride. Salamat po.
Well noted, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat, distinguished colleague. That is exactly what we are trying to do, to make do and proceed with best budget procedures despite her absence, para po makita ng taong bayan na itong kongresong ito ay wala pong animosity, wala pong pag-aaway-away, wala pong pinopolitika dito. That's why we will proceed to craft this whole budget, including the budget of the Office of the Vice President. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, distinguished colleague.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate the sponsor, I move to recognize Representative Isidro T. Ungab from the 3rd District, the city of Davao. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Ungab is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is not an interpellation. This is only a manifestation. I respect the views and opinions of my colleagues, and I salute my good friend, Congressman Erice, for taking the road of statesmanship a bit further. Mr. Speaker, the budget of the Office of the Vice President had suffered so much reductions in 2024 and in 2025. Drastic reductions. I was a member of the previous Congress, the 19th Congress, and even there were two occasions that we were even debating at the committee level to the point of heated debates, perhaps altercation, to the point of this representation and the former congressman, now Senator Dante Marcoleta. We were debating at the Appropriations Committee level because during the time they were not willing to grant the traditional parliamentary courtesy deserving a higher or co-equal office of government. Mahaba yung discussion. Hindi ko lang maintindihan kung bakit diretso magtatanong yung mga kasama natin to a higher office, which is the office of the Vice President. We argued there. At respect for the due process, no for the budget process. How can we respect the budget process? Let me say this. My only hope is that all things will be corrected in this Congress. The budget process will be corrected in this budget and in this Congress. Why I said that? There are two parts of the annual budget that is presented to us by the executive. First part is the new general appropriations, and the second part is the automatic appropriations. Yung automatic appropriations, hindi na natin yan pinag-uusapan dito because they are already covered by previous special laws debated by our predecessors. Pero in the 2025 budget, the automatic appropriations were mangled. Lumampas. May dagdag bawas, 14 special laws were amended. Kasama na yung PhilHealth law at saka syntax law amended. Ang daming ginalaw. 14 special laws sa automatic appropriations na hindi dapat ginagalaw yan. Pagdating sa new general appropriations, kaya nga tayo tinatawag na General Appropriations Act, New General Appropriations, yun yung ating didiscuss. What comprises the new general appropriations? The program funds and the unprogrammed funds. Program funds, 26 out of 27 departments were mangled beyond recognition. Isa lang ang hindi ginalaw, DBM. Bakit ang lakas ng DBM? 26 were mangled. Dagdag bawas. At saka yung program appropriations nilipat sa program including the foreign assisted projects. At saka yung fiscal space na naiwan, pinalitan ng mga priority pet projects na wala man lang sa National Development Plan ng ating Republika ng Pilipinas. Pet projects inserted. That's why in this rostrum, I said last August 4, the 2025 budget is the most corrupt budget ever passed by this Congress and perhaps by the entire Philippine history. Ginalaw, program appropriations, and program appropriations may ongoing releases pa. Alam niyo kung anong worry ko? For us, legislators, even the executive, must consider that the number one priority of the Constitution says that education will be given the priority and the highest budget year per year. Sa 2025 budget na habol nahabol ng DPWH ang total infrastructure budget. Kahit ano pang sasabihin nila at binago yung composition, still malaki pa rin ang infrastructure budget kaysa education sector. And they are still releasing from unprogrammed funds. Mas lalong lumaki yung gap between infrastructure and education. Ladies and gentlemen of this House, it is our duty, it is our obligation to keep track, babantayan yung budget because education is the number one priority of the Republic of the Philippines. Iniwan na ng budget ng infrastructure. Highly questionable pa kasi yung mga releases ang malalaki flood control projects. Where can we get respect from that? Ladies and gentlemen of this House, my personal, yes, OBP, what I am saying is the budget process. How will we get respect? That's why the chairman, madam, the appropriations committee, this Congress have a very big role to perform, to correct the image, to correct the impression. We must be able to come up with an honest to goodness budget for 2025. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. And we heard the manifestation from the minority and also the manifestation of our distinguished colleague, Congressman Ongab. On my behalf, I will see to it. I'm also a member of the Appropriations Committee. We will produce a budget that is beyond compare, meaning for the benefit of all Filipinos concerned. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next for a short interpellation and short manifestation, I move to recognize Representative Rennie Luis Co from Kabataan Party List. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The representative from Kabataan Party List is now recognized.
Mr. Speaker, good sponsor, di ko na po masyadong papahabain, but in due time, the Makabayan Bloc will move to reduce the budget of the Office of the Vice President in light of these new developments. Sa bahagi lang po natin, ang manifestation ko lang po, now is not the time for protection, now is not the time for immunities, now is not the time for conditions. No? Ang kailangan ng taong bayan, transparency, paliwanag. The Filipino people deserve an acceptable explanation. We deserve better. With this po, Mr. Chair, good sponsor, I move to terminate the interpellations for the budget of the Office of the Vice President for the 2026 budget. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on the part of the majority, we join the minority in the motion to terminate the interpellations on the proposed budget on the Office of the Vice President. So move, Mr. Speaker.
There's a motion. There's a motion to terminate the budget deliberation of the Office of the Vice President. Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion approved. Majority Leader.
Thank you.
Motion to suspend.
Session suspended.